Hey guys, welcome back to the channel RP Let's Explore. So guys, in today's video session, we'll perform few of the Excel operation. So we build a workflow where we'll cover most of the Excel activities. So now I have few of the data in the Excel file and I have one desktop application. I have to fill this data expense type, description and the amount. This data in this field. And then whatever amount will be generated here, I have to fetch it and back put to the total amount column. So we'll do this. And there is one more problem, like the selector is continuously changing in this workflow. So don't worry, we'll handle that one as well. So let's start to build a workflow. So go to the UIPath Studio and create one project, Excel operation 1. So this is our UIPath Studio, and now I am creating one sequence. You can give any name to your sequence. So first thing is what we have to do. We have to read this Excel file, right? So read the Excel file. So for this I'm using the Excel application scope activity. Excel application scope, right? So what we have to here, you are able to see we have to provide the workbook Excel file path. So providing this path, this is not needed and visible. We don't want visible our Excel file. So I'll create one variable which store the Excel file path. So str underscore Excel file path, right? Now I want the path of this Excel file. So just go copy as a path, right? And put this path here in the default value. Okay, this variable is a string type variable, right? So I'm passing this path here, str file Excel file path, right? Now here I already click save changes. Now the next thing is we have to use the read range activity to read the Excel file. So I'm using the read range. So guys, keep in mind when we have to perform operation on the Excel, there is a different activity read range. And when you have to perform operation on the workbook, there is a different read range activity, right? So I'm performing the Excel operation. So I'll take this read range activity, right? So here by default, add here receipt check. So no worries, keep as it is. And you have to provide the sheet name. So by default, it's a sheet 1, but we have to check the sheet name of our Excel file. So I'm opening and this is the different one. So I'll just copy the sheet name and you can pass over here in this field, right? So now by using this activity, we able to read the Excel file, but the thing is we have to store this data into the particular variable. So for this I'm creating one variable, control K tt underscore data table true. You can give any name. So and if you check into the variable panel, here is a by default variable type is data table because we use here the we read range activity and perform Excel operations, and Scope should be sequence, right? So now the data is stored into this particular data table variable. So the next thing is we have to open this particular application. So for that I'll use the attach window activity. So open the attach window. So here you have to indicate the window, right? Now the next thing is we have to click on this create expense report. So you have to use the create activity, but I'm taking the one sequence. I'll place in between here and search the click activity and indicate this create expense report button. So here what you have to do, you simulate click should be false, and once you create on this button there will be one window like this. And now we have to fill each and every row data, right? So to perform this activity we have to use for each activity, for each for each. So guys, make sure you are using the correct activity because you perform data table operation, right? And here is one more for each activity. So you have to use this for each row activity. So I'm taking this one, right? So we already created one variable data table. So I'm passing this one dt data table 2. Now our all data is available into this variable, right? So now once we added this activity, we have to add click activity to click the add expense button, because see, every time we click on this add expense button then the field is added simultaneously here. So I'm clicking indicating this add expense button, right? So once it's done you have to put this information into this value, into this expense type field. So what I'll do is here I'll use the type into activity, okay. So expense type, right? So what we have to do here, we have to pass the entire column because we have to pass each and every row, right? So it's better to pass the column. So I'm passing row and the column name. It's always better to copy the column name instead of typing because sometimes we can make mistake while typing. So expense type dot to string. We have to convert into the string value, and here empty field should be click, right? But the thing is what you have to do here, you have to make sure your selector is correct, right? So I'm opening the selector. See, now the idx value is 16. Every time the selector is changing, right? Every time. So our selector is not constant. It's same for description, same for the amount field. So what I'll do is I'll make it dynamic. So go to the UI Explorer. Here you are able to see few of the attributes, right? So what I'll do is I'll click on the text, validate, and I'll save it. So this IDX value is gone from here because this is changing continuously. So I'm saving this one. Okay, fine. Now we'll do same for the another activity, another field as well. So here I'm using type into activity again, and now you have to indicate the description button. Then pass row and the description column into the double quotes. Description dot to string. So now here we have to change our selector as well, which I already told you. I'll make it dynamic because every time this value is get changing. So I'll using the text, selecting the text and validate. So I'll save it. Done. So the same for amount as well. Type into amount. For this type into, I forget to check the empty field. So check it. Now you have to again click on the amount. This amount value, right? And as the column name. So the column name is amount. Right? And you have to make the selector dynamic. So go to the UI Explorer and you have to select the text, right? Validate and save. Okay. And click the check the empty field true, right? So done. We put all information in this field. Now the whatever total expense generated here, we have to fetch it. So perform this activity. We'll use get full text activity, right? So I'm using get full text activity. Indicate on screen and here 277. So again this value is continuously change, right? So what I'll do is I'll make the selector dynamic. So go to the UI Explorer and you have to make it dynamic. Uncheck this name and validate. Done. And save it. Okay. So the value will get perfect. Now whatever value we'll get, we have to store into the particular variable. So get value 1. Right? So I have created one variable. So what we'll see message box. We'll pass the message box to check whatever value we are getting, it's correct or not. Control space, get value 1, right? So perfect. Now the next thing is whatever value we got, we just put back to the Excel file, right? In the total amount column. So to perform this action, we have to use again the Excel application scope. So search the Excel application scope, this activity, and you have to pass the same Excel file path which I already created here, the Excel file path, right? So str Excel file path. Done. Now what we have to do, this value I need to fill into the total column, right? So I'll use the assign activity to assign this value to the total column value. So in the do row into double quotes total amount. Total amount, right? And this value get value 1 dot to string, right? So done. we assign this value to the total column, total amount column. Now the next thing is we have to write this value. So what I'll use the write range activity to write value back into the Excel file. So here you have to again pass the sheet name as well, right? I'm passing the data table which earlier I used, and the sheet name is expenses, right? So copy it and pass here, and here you have to click on the add headers, and then you have to remove this A1, no need of this one, right? So check if everything is okay. So visible is not required, this is not also not required. Just remove everything which is not required. Save changes, just I have checked, and the right range add headers should be in check. So we build a workflow. Now we have to see whether I'm saving all these things. Now we have to check whether it's performed perfect or not. I'm closing the application, closing the Excel file as well, and now I'll see how it's work. So run file, bot is start executing it, add expense, perfect, it's perfectly work. You are able to see it get a perfect value 367. Then it filling the next value and give us the perfect amount, right? So perfect 535, it gave us perfect amount. Each and every row is filling into this application, right? Perfect 671. So perfect. Now we have to check the Excel file is filled perfectly or not. So perfect. You are able to see in the total amount section, it's perfectly filled the amount which we want. See 367, 405, 605 and 671. In this way, bot is perfectly work and perform the required action. So guys, if you have any doubt about this today's session, you can ask me in the comment section. Definitely I'll guide you. And if you like my channel, please like, share and subscribe my channel so that I'll be posting more useful code for you. So thank you guys for watching. Keep learning, keep sharing. Happy automation.